Have you ever been reaching out to God and really desperately needed an answer or perhaps peace in a situation of anxiety? And then you don't really get a response and you don't really get that confirmation or peace that you're looking for. Well, today I'm going to tell you a story of something that happened recently in my life, and it contains certain steps that may be very helpful for you if you are looking to get those secret or intimate messages from God so that you can get the peace, so that you can get the guidance or the answers that you are looking for. A few weeks ago, I had this wonderful experience happen. It was just as if God was pouring out His love to me, showing me that He sees me, He cares about me, He totally has things under control. And I'm going to share it with you. It's a short story. So the first state or situation I was in was that I was in a lot of anxiety. I had a certain event coming up and it was important to me. So I was very anxious one day and I just couldn't get out of it. So I was reaching out to God and I didn't really get a response. But the good thing was that I was actually consciously aware of it and I was then able to do something to try to fix it. So that is the first step, and it seems like something so simple and silly, but it is so important. Too often we are in a state where we are not really consciously aware of the anger, the fear, the anxiety, the depression, whatever has hit us. We are just responding, and it can take days until we actually get back to ourselves or understand what is going on. But if we can see it quickly, then instead of just reacting and responding, and that kind of reacting usually is kind of negative stuff. It can be yelling at people, just eating a lot of stuff and doing things that is not constructive at all. But if we can get into a state where we are consciously aware of the situation, then we are able to logically process it and look for solutions, maybe find the cause of the problem or reach out to God. So that was what I was doing, but it could only be done if I had awareness of it consciously first. So anyway, I was reaching out to God and I've been doing that for a long time, and hours went by and I just didn't get a response. I didn't get that confirmation or the peace that I was looking for. So what do you do in a situation like that? Well, there's not one answer for all of that, but in my instance, I had to do, which is the next step. First we have awareness, then we have seeking God, and then the next one is to wait and listen. So often people do reach out to God, they pray and they do things, but they forget to be quiet and to actually observe what happens afterwards because, I guess they're not used to getting a response. But reaching out to God and communicating with God is like communicating with any other person, and it would be quite rude if I said, "Hello, how are you?" and then I just turned my back and went into the kitchen to get something to eat. The proper thing would be for me to actually be quiet for a while and listen and see if you wanted to respond in any way. And of course, with God, it is a little bit more difficult, or it's a little bit different. He doesn't just respond with an audible voice and it's obvious, etc. He speaks in many ways and people do not perceive it. That comes from Job, I think it's 33, you'll have to look that up. But God speaks in so many ways and there may be delay. Anyway, my point is that I listened and I waited, and what did happen? Well, suddenly I heard, it was as if God said, "Now you should pray to me." And I was like, yeah, I want to pray to you. I've been praying all day and I can pray to you now also. And yes, I'll do that. And so I just turned on some worship music and I was ready to sit in my chair and focus on God, etc. But then I just heard this voice saying, you need to lay down on the floor. I was like, oh, really? Why? That's weird. And I looked at my floor, and it was like, in my head, I was thinking, it's been a while since I've been vacuum cleaning. It was a little bit dusty, and yeah, I didn't really want to do it. It was a silly thing. It looked silly to me. And so that brings me to the last point, which is so important. If you want to get messages from God and, that confirmation, that peace, whatever it is that you are seeking, whatever you do get from God as a response, if you reach out to Him, you have to obey. You have to take that one step and do as best as you can in understanding what is asked you to do, and then the next step will not be revealed until you have done that. If it makes sense and is not dangerous and it doesn't go against the Bible, etc., then you can say, okay, God, I believe that you are saying this, so I will take a step in that direction, and if it's wrong, then please correct me, but if it's right, then help me by confirming in some kind of way. So anyway, I took a step. I went down on my knees on the floor, and I was bending forward. I wasn't laying down on the floor as I was asked, because I was thinking, it's a little bit dusty. I'll just do this. That's good enough. So I didn't actually obey. And as I was on my knees, I heard the voice again. You have to lay down on the floor. And I was like, that's silly. My dusty floor, I don't want to lay down on my floor. In my mind, I was arguing, which is really a silly thing to do. So I went on a little bit with the rationals and the logics of that, because I didn't really want to. But then, okay, I laid down on the floor, and I did it on my tummy. So I put my hands like this and my head like this. And as I was laying there, I was thinking, this is so ridiculous. Why am I here? Okay, I'm laying on the floor now, God. Now what? And then I heard, you have to turn your head like this. So I was laying like this, and I turned my head. And the moment I put my head on my hands, boom, I had my answer. I got the peace, and I kept it all day until the event, and it was just instantly changed. So what was the reason for that? Well, it's simple. The moment I put my head like this, I had been shaped through instructions that I objected to and argued against. I did not understand them. I saw them as silly and stupid. But I had been shaped into a position that I recognized inside every cell of my being, and, consciously and everything, I recognized it as the position that a small child would have when they were resting, completely carefree, and were just sleeping or resting, knowing that everything was okay. So as I put my head on my hands like that, boom, my body recognized the position, and boom, I heard the voice. This is how you should rest. And in that instance, I knew that God had really confirmed that everything was okay, and that I could rest like a baby and know that everything was taken care of. I knew that this was not something that I had made up or fabricated in any way. How could I? I was arguing against it. And because of that, because I did not understand it until I got to, so and so many steps down the road, that was to me confirmation that this did not come from anywhere else than from God. And so instantly, at the same time, I was also filled with a peace, and it stayed there. It wasn't just like for a moment, it stayed there, and it was just as if God was pouring out His heart to me, saying that I've got this, kid. Just rest like a baby and trust me. And I did. So I hope you can see how important it is to follow these steps. First, you need to be aware of the issue so that you can take conscious steps towards understanding the reason or making a solution for it or finding a solution for it. Next, seeking God in the issue is definitely a good thing. Definitely, if you want to have a response from God, that is what you have to do. And then you need to wait and listen. And whatever you then get, it is important for you to obey, even if it is simple or silly, because by taking the first step, the next one and the next one will be revealed. But if you wait and don't make a step, you won't see the rest of it. You won't understand what the next part of what God wanted to share with you was. And it is like a test. God gives you something simple or perhaps stupid to do, because if you are faithful in the small things, He will give you more. And if you care enough about Him and the answer and, just whatever He has given you, if you care enough about that, you will actually do it, and then you will get more. So there's a principle behind this that is profound and so simple and so important. So I hope you can see that. Now, if you like this video, you may also be interested in the free mini course that I've just created. It's about making dreams come true and fulfilling your life purpose. So check it out. There's a link below. And I hope you had a good time. Be blessed, take care, and hope to see you soon again.